Bonk, go to horny jail.
Honk. I said honk. Bonk.
Did you say honk?
Yeah.
No, it's bonk.
I'm a goose. Honk. God, Zacarra's going to use that in the fucking intro.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Honk.
Three, two, one. I did it.
Clack at the tuck.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Not a Halo podcast, where
Damn
we,
you,
well, hurry up and
I'm
do
your
it then.
host,
It's your show.
What was that, Vern?
I'm your host, Noah, from the channel TravellingHalo.
Well, we should pass the
This-
intro around to the different members. That would be funny.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome. I am Noah of the channel TravellingHalo, and I am joined by my friends Alyx, Neo, and Wernissage, brought together by our shared love of Halo. But do not let that fool you, for we will try, and likely fail, to talk about anything but Halo. For this is not a Halo podcast, and we are joined by a very special guest today, Mr. Jack Fletcher of Ultimate Halo.
Hey, up. We all right? Yeah.
We are.
We all
Good
right.
chat. Sound.
That's right. Mike, check for sound. Check. Yep.
Indeed.
How are we doing? On this fine Monday
Good.
/ Sunday.
I don't think you understand what I meant by sound, by the way. When English people say sound, it's
Your
kind of like an
sound.
affirmation of, all right, yeah, whatever, you know. But yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
Great,
Doing
actually.
good.
Yeah.
I'm really jolly.
Hoping the world's
we're just
not,
gonna we're just gonna speak English, British, the entire episode.
We're all. Oh.
You just said the thing, Ludwig.
No.
So a bit of context for everybody who obviously wasn't in the call prior, obviously. We're talking about who people like identify as British. I wouldn't really call myself British. I'd say I'm more English, because Scottish, Welsh, Northern Irish, we're all different peoples in our own rights. With that,
Yeah,
different histories.
Vern almost lost
so,
us Jack because he offended him pretty deeply.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So it's like if I called you Danish, Ludwig. Well, it's all same, you know.
well, I mean, not really, because you are British. You're just English
Hey, or
British.
Scandinavian, though, aren't you? You know.
I
you
am.
feel me?
Yeah.
Neo's
You call me
Australia.
Scandinavian.
Close enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Go
from
fuck yourself,
Canada.
kindly.
Pretty much.
Sorry.
Wait, am I seriously the only American in here? Like, true American?
No, I'm not from Canada. I'm joking.
Dude,
It's,
no.
Okay.
Oh, you got scared.
Thank God.
Jesus, we need 2 Americans.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
Does anybody really need 2 Americans?
One is enough.
I
Well,
was
let's
about to
cover the
say,
bases. Jack asked where we're all from earlier, and so let me actually round back out to that question. I'll start. I am from Washington, USA. I am 40 minutes south of where 343 makes Halo, which
Wow.
doesn't do me any good. I don't get any. My uncle did work for Microsoft, though.
It's a beautiful
Alex?
place you live, though.
Oh,
I
thank
thought
you.
everybody's uncle worked for Microsoft when they were kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least
yes.
that's what
what
I
they told
remember
them.
growing up.
Yeah.
Where are
and,
you from,
The
Alex?
other American?
I am from Virginia in the United States.
And I am from not the US. I'm from a place called Sweden.
Denmark.
Denmark. Oh,
Not fuck
great
you.
minds. I like it.
Drama.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
I am from Wellington, New Zealand. It's pretty. Weather here is fucking terrible. It's about 2-minute walk from the nearest fish and chip shop.
Oh.
10-minute walk to Pizza Hut. 15-minute walk to the waterfront and getting a nice view and being able to chill out. Oh, and
Wait.
15 minutes from the nearest sushi place.
Wait, in New Zealand, is that in Australia?
Fuck off.
We're just gonna
I think,
offend.
I think it's an island off of South America, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that area.
It's like spicy British, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like for the longest time, I couldn't hear the difference between British and luckily the British accent and the Australian and New Zealand accent.
To be fair, I am told quite a lot that I have a very sort of pronunciated accent quite a bit sometimes.
It's pretty strong.
I was talking to someone last night for the first time, and she was like, "Huh, you sound kind of American," and I'm like, "What?"
Whoa.
I think because I'm actually well, I hope I am, because otherwise my last name is a bit of a lie, but I'm actually Maori, which is like this country's indigenous ethnicity. But I look and sound just really fucking white for some reason.
That you are.
Interesting.
And Jack, what part of England are you from?
So I'm from West Yorkshire, near the border of North Yorkshire. So
Naturally.
Yorkshire's the biggest county in the UK, in England, and it's split off into 4 parts, obviously north, east, south, and west. And west is the best part of Yorkshire. In fact, no, Yorkshire's the best part of England. Yorkshire's the best part of the UK and Great Britain, actually.
Oh, it is.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
they filmed
not
some
much.
Harry Potter here, that's why. So
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
it makes sense.
I literally got my Harry Potter mug right here.
Oh, nice.
Starting strong.
So
didn't
you've
know
got
that.
The
Harry
only mug in the
Potter.
scene.
What was that, Alex?
No.
You've got Harry Potter. Neo has Lord of the Rings. Noah has Halo. What about myself and Wern?
Oh, fuck. I have ABBA. I don't know.
PewDiePie.
Dude, I love
Fuck
that.
we have.
Respect.
Yeah.
You got PewDiePie. Sure.
That's all.
Yeah, you got
have,
PewDiePie.
The
Oh, we do,
invasion of the
yeah.
United States in Modern Warfare 2.
Aw. Hey, to be
I mean-
fair, that was probably the best part of Modern Warfare 2, honestly.
True.
I think. I liked playing that whole thing.
You're also closer to the invasion point of the what are now the United States by the colonists who established the country. Beautiful.
It's also
I'm
the
lost
beautiful.
here.
It's also a beautiful thing that I'm the children of 2 immigrants. That's also very nice.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We aren't, at least I'm not, native to this country, is what we're saying.
This was a weird tangent.
Ethnically speaking.
Who is a native here? Raise your
Who-
hands.
well, yeah.
Oh, fuck. No,
Yeah,
I'm not,
well-
actually. Well, I'm half.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I was gonna say
Well, I
I
mean-
think Jack's the only one who's actually in the country that
I mean,
his heritage just comes down from,
what
right?
do you call native? Because I mean, me and Jack are probably kind of closely related, right?
Oh,
Like
good point.
Vikings
Yeah.
and stuff. Or am I
I
wrong?
mean, you guys came and pillaged England God knows how many times, so it was probably
Yeah,
some
get
bloodline. But I am
Yeah.
I am quarter Northern Irish though, so there is a little bit of
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Celtic in there.
Yeah, you
but,
might be first.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of fucking wiped out like native people in Sweden. There aren't a lot of them left, but it wasn't my doing. I swear.
You mean you weren't there?
Well, you should shoulder the blame though.
Yeah.
You are a scumbag, Ludwig.
Yeah. Okay, I am. Yeah.
As we know him
You
to
got-
be.
You got me.
He is
I,
the resident scumbag on this podcast.
This might
I
be
do
the
like
most hostile
killing
fucking
native
episode we've
people.
recorded.
Right, it's killing native people and upsetting people with art on Halo on Twitter.
Yeah,
We won't
like
divulge
where
into
does it
Halo,
stop?
but
Where does it stop?
Well,
It's
we don't
fucking
bring up the
awful.
H word here. That's the one thing is off limits.
well, I don't say
Well-
the H in that word anyway. It's more like Halo to me with my accent. So
Yeah.
Ultimate Halo.
Halo, Halo. So
Yeah.
So what is the
So yeah,
proximity
that's
of West Yorkshire to like the other parts of England? I don't know the geography.
well, I mean, there are other parts north, west, south. I mean, like in relation to where? Go on, give me
I mean, you're kind of in the middle of the country, right?
north of the country. So
So
it's
you're-
like 3 hours north on the train from London. Probably about 4 hours drive.
Is there
So-
a relationship to Scotland, either in accent or in tradition or in or culture, that is, or in geography? Is there any? Is it?
No,
Oh, you just offended him.
But I do get asked a lot, and this is one thing that really grinds my gears when I go to the US. It happens all the time. And like, you Scottish, you Irish, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, no, I'm English. So, and
That's not how the Queen
I could
talks.
yeah, well, exactly. They don't understand how like varied accents are in England. Not in UK alone, like just England itself. It's very varied. But like last time I was in America, when I went to HCS Rally in December, it's like me, you, Nick, the Reachway, Green Skull. We're all having like dinner, having some drinks. I was exhausted. I had zero patience, and the woman was getting everybody's drinks orders before she took food, and I said, "Can I?" It was a bit loud in the restaurant, so I said, "Can I please have a rum and coke?" A what? And I'm like, a rum and coke.
No.
So I repeated myself 3 times, and she just couldn't get it. And everyone around the table could see I was losing my patience. I was tired. I was jet lagged. I'd been drinking like 3 nights on the trot, and I just put on an American accent. I just went, "A rum and coke." It's like, "Oh, sure, no problem." I'm like, why is this so difficult? So that's a common issue I have in the States, and yeah, it infuriates me.
But what do you think of the States, really? Give us your
I
true
love it.
opinion.
Yeah, no,
do?
I have the aspiration to live in Seattle or Washington State for a while. It's I first went in 2017, and I just fell in love with the place. It's just that in Seattle in particular, other than the homeless and the opioid problems, I'll look past that.
Pretty rough there.
It's getting worse, yeah. But like, in terms of the geography of the place, the Olympic Mountains, Mount Rainier, Lake Union, and then you got downtown, which is pretty chill for a city. And it's just a beautiful, relaxed place. I think there's a bit of something for everyone. In terms of the rest of the US, I've been to Utah once. That was okay. Beautiful mountains. California was a shithole. I've been to
California, Stan.
Raleigh. Yeah, and Raleigh, North Carolina. That was okay. I was drunk pretty much 90% of the time, so what I do remember of it was nice enough. So, yeah, it's nice.
Those are nice things you have to say about Seattle. I live 40 minutes south of Seattle. Our editor lives in Seattle.
Well, can you get me a visa, and then I'll come move over for a couple of years, and we
With
can
the
hang
paperwork
out,
going.
right?
That's right.
Yeah. So
You can bed
all right,
with us.
Cool.
Not like
I'll
that.
share a bed with you. We'll top and tail. It's fine. Cool.
It's a promise. Well, what
Nice.
are we drinking today? Bev check.
Well, I just finished my hot chocolate, but I might bounce
Little
out and make
bottle of
another one at
water,
some
mate.
point.
Coffee,
Jesus Christ,
as
it's a
usual.
fucking...
It is a big bottle.
Wow. Run a warthog off
The
of
real
that thing.
gamer fuel. The fuel of real gamers.
Well, I
Water
mean,
as
water. We're all grown-ups here.
That's right. We hydrate with H2O. Good old-fashioned.
I like
What's
a
an
good
old-fashioned?
old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned is water. No, a good old-fashioned is a great thing. I agree.
Well, it depends what kind of old-fashioned. There's an old-fashioned can be interpreted as a hand job, or a whiskey or a rum drink infused with orange zest.
Hand job's a nickname for a different kind of drink too. So depends where you are,
Oh, maybe it's a dialect
Oh.
thing.
perhaps.
Maybe it's a
Am I making this really
British
awkward?
thing.
It might be. I don't know. I'm sure I've heard South Park refer to an old-fashioned as a hand job.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's also South Park.
Well, yeah, that's
Fair
true.
enough.
You guys have access to some forbidden knowledge I was never aware of.
Well,
We have some deep, dark secrets.
Don't worry, this is the first I'm hearing of any of that too.
that's right. Yeah. Earlier we were talking about breasts, so everything's on the table.
I
today.
missed that conversation.
Yeah, it was right
Oh,
when
no.
you were out.
No, we were talking about, what's the word? Abreast?
Abreast.
Like a word.
Okay.
the
yeah.
word abreast.
And
Being kept abreast of situations, then it just
Yeah.
descended from
yeah,
there.
and I said, like, I know
Vern
what
was not-
abreast is. I don't know what abreast is.
I should be an expert on the topic, but I'm blissfully aware of what you guys are talking about right now.
Really unaware. Yeah. Well, it's the distinction between the word abreast, being abreast of a scenario or abreast of the situation.
Right,
We had Zacarra
right.
read us off the definition earlier, and abreast. There's no other way to put that.
It's probably just a Seattle thing.
I would say.
Yeah.
It's a Seattle thing. It's a regional affair.
I did actually look up years ago if Seattle has its own accent because it seems quite neutral. And apparently, the only thing that's very specific to Seattle is the way they say bag. So if you go to
What?
the store
Bag.
and you ask for a bag, they'll go, some people in Seattle, and the surrounding area, especially like north, maybe like Everett, or even not more north than that. Not Bellevue. Doesn't matter.
Bellevue's north
Anyway,
of
apparently they say beg, like beg.
Beg.
That's what I heard.
Need a beg.
That's what a beg.
Yeah, how do you say
You know
no?
what? I'm not familiar with that. I have, but my ears apparently haven't been open to it. The one thing that I can tell you that Washington people, some people in Washington will say, and this is mostly the south of Washington, is Washington. They'll say Washington. That's a very Washington thing to do. Washington. Yeah, but and that feels like it has influence from like North Dakota region, you know, and that kind of. But like, I don't know. I feel like I always feel like the way we talk, and this is I'm probably completely unaware of the way I actually talk in relation to the rest of the United States, but I always feel like we just are, you know, budget California accents, basically. You know, it's just West Coast as a whole has sort of like apparently a kind of a hard R. And I won't deny that I've got the hard R, but I don't know.
Well, I pretty much know R. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing is, I have like no R's. Like you got R, and I got R.
That's just A. That's just a form of the letter A.
That's not
Yeah,
R.
well, yeah, no. So
not a goddamn letter
you guys
R.
go. I'm gonna go to the park. And I'll go. I'm off to park.
Park.
Like
Park.
I'm off
to park.
Park. Yeah, it's like
T.
T-O. If I'm going to the park, it's T in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
So
I find it interesting. Like the only like English accent I know that uses like the Swedish R is like Scotland, like the rolling R's.
I don't know.
Where the fuck you use it?
You do find like higher class Brits might use the rolling R, but like
okay, yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like.
Does anyone really talk like that?
Well, I was going to say it's kind of like that quote upper echelon of
high
British,
society kind of thing.
Yeah, high society. The snobs basically, and I doubt anyone's who is in that kind of bracket is watching a Not Halo podcast because you know. Because you guys are elevated above that, is what I'm saying.
It's too it's too low brow for their good souls. I'm imagining.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
You're not in touch with the real people, man. The common man, they don't get it.
No.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, I mean, Scottish. The R seems like only appears in England and in the Scotland region, which is really that's not in England, I guess, but in the, UK as a whole. Well, I mean, let's see, Neo, what do you do with R's?
R. I don't know. Give me a word. You'll figure it out. Based on my
what's a word with an R in
response.
it?
Park.
Response.
Romeo.
Response. Romeo. Spartan.
Esherum?
It just sounds
Go
American.
with Halo. Esherum.
It's
nice.
like an in between, really, isn't it? I've always thought that like the Kiwi accent is derivative of like Southern London, Cockney London. Because I do notice there are some similarities in terms of the pronunciation of certain words.
I touched on it a bit before, but from what other people have told me locally, I think my accent sounds a bit more transatlantic than most Kiwis. But there's definitely that element that you talk about is in like the kind of the actual like real accent here of most people, I think.
I notice you say the letter A with a bit of variance in the way you pronounce it. It's more of an like accent, something like that.
accent.
Accent.
There is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you say deck, you don't say dick. You don't go that hard.
Dick.
Oh, popping off to get some milk, mate. Gonna get myself a steam dick.
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, I don't sound like that very much. A lot of our agricultural society does, though. I'll say that much.
Always makes me giggle.
Yeah, we got like our farmer's accent, which I think they say. Apparently we pronounce milk like milk, or we have like fish and chips, or like that kind of thing.
Fish and chips.
Well,
Yeah,
although I say fish and chips, but then apparently according to everybody else, when we say it, it sounds like fush and chops, which I don't get.
Fish and
but
chips. It is what it sounds like. Yeah.
It could also be like maybe I just don't hear it.
that's a
I don't
farmer's
really know.
accent. It sounds like it's equivalent culturally to our southern accent. The way we get a drawl down in the south, and even in the east part of Washington, where we got a lot of farms, you'll even have people with a drawl. Special kind of Washington
100%.
drawl.
Yeah, there's also it's kind of like a noticeable accent difference I feel between sort of the current generation, like all of us and stuff, and then people that are in like the 50s plus. I think I've always found it kind of really fascinating. If you go back to our 70s and 80s TV broadcasts, everybody sounds like they have a much more English sounding accent, and I guess somewhere along the way, kind of just went all streets, just went to complete utter shit.
The streets went
Yeah.
to shit, like infrastructure.
Well, they did too. Yeah, both happened really.
Do you mean street culture?
Yeah, just more
Got
kind
it.
of, I guess less sort of prim and proper or.
But you got good
something-
roads though.
Something along that line. Wellington does not. Our roads are really narrow. Because I'm practically blind in one eye. That would already generally mean I don't ever want to drive here. But if I was, I'd be fucking scared for my life because the roads here are so tiny.
That's the same
you
where
don't
I'm
drive.
from. A lot of country roads, it's very tight. Like American roads are just crazy wide. But you know,
Huge.
You couldn't have American like trucks go through our country roads. You'd have no chance.
Big
Yeah,
Ford F-150.
it's fucking crazy. I mean, around the corner, the like road that goes past sort of my place, like because you also have cars parking. They are dedicated parking spots, but really it's like you have cars parking on both sides, and then you basically have like there are lanes, but like to be quite honest, it's a single lane road. That's a lot of a decent part of Wellington is like that. Most of the CBD is like pretty big, but that's not
We have
quite
CBD
where I live.
We just made it legal here.
Good for you.
CBD?
CBD is
It's like
Is-
cannabis oil, is it?
cannabis oil,
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
marijuana, weed. What do you call it? Hash.
Me?
No, I think we also call it weed.
Yeah, we call it weed. Skunk.
The marijuana.
Smelly stuff.
But no, yeah.
Smelly stuff, right?
This is truly not a Halo podcast. Holy shit. We were just talking about roads. Like,
Infrastructure,
Fucking
sex, and drugs, the things that
marijuana.
drive society.
yes.
Ladies and
Drugs.
gentlemen, you get what you came for with this episode.
Yeah. Finally. Now, but seeing as we have the one and only Ultimate Halo on the podcast, yeah, why don't you? I guess everyone knows who you are. But why
No,
don't
let
you
us know.
introduce
What is
yourself?
the
We're
what's the, yeah,
long
what's the
past this
history?
point.
Who's
We're like 10, 15 minutes in.
Yeah, that's how it goes here.
All right. So what do you want to know? The history of me or Ultimate Halo?
Yes.
Well, a little bit.
Are they
of
the
both,
same
maybe.
thing? Weren't you born like as a YouTuber? I don't understand.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I don't get it.
Well, that was my parents' plan, but shit changes, you know. Is this PG, by the way? Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's fucking fine.
Fucking ace, mate. Right, okay. So you want to know about me? Okay. I'll tell you a little bit about me.
Let's hear it.
Obviously, I told you where I'm from. I am a musician. Ludwig produces my music.
Hell yeah.
Well, we've been working.
Ludwig
on an
is
EP for a
Wernissage,
while.
by the way. I think a lot of people
Yes.
wouldn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. I can never say
Yeah.
Wernissage because it's like.
Wernissage. No one knows.
Yeah.
Everyone says Wernissage because of the W.
I'm just gonna
Fucked up.
quickly go off a tangent. I think like you couldn't have picked more of an awkward name for like
I mean-
non-Scandi speakers, man. Like
Yeah, the thing is, it wasn't the plan. Like I've said it before, but like it was just like a meme name for my Instagram where I put my art, because it's kind of an art exhibition. But you know, I kind of included my last name. But then it just kind of, then I got some followers, and I was like, shit. Now it's too late. I can't change it now. I'm stuck
I've
with
heard
this.
people just refer to as the art of Halo.
Yeah, yeah.
They
So
just
that's.
can't be
I think
asked
it's a good.
trying to pronounce
Yeah,
Wernissage.
I think it's a good thing I chose that as a subtitle because that's what people say usually, or Vern. Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, go ahead.
back to more important people. I'm kidding. I love you, Ludwig. I'm joking. No. God, that sounds like such a prick. So
We're gonna clip that one out and put it in the front.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So so I'm a musician. I write. As Ludwig knows, I write very emotional songs. Breakups, moments in my life, where I think I'm going in life. And
Sex and drugs.
Apparently sex and drugs.
World War III.
Yeah.
Soon enough, yeah. If I survive the front lines, then I'll be able to sing about it at least. And then I'm an avid Leeds United supporter. We actually lost our manager, Marcelo Bielsa, today, and I'm very upset about it. What else do I do, Ludwig? I make art. I make Halo art, like composition art. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you do. I knew that.
Yeah. Damn
He's
straight.
trying to take my spot as the Halo artist.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the thing
he's
is
doing a
that-
good job.
Shit.
Like I've had people refer to me like, cause I've had like actual like gaming websites pick up my stuff, and they referred to me as an Halo fan artist, creates this, and I'm like, I'm not a fucking artist. Like I'm because I do all my shit in Blender now, and I'm the biggest Blender cowboy there is. I can literally just put a model in, put a few lights around, and call it a day, and then I do my beauty in Photoshop. So,
That is
the
art,
one,
like in-
the only ultimate Halo.
Ultimate Halo, yeah.
You're a cowboy.
And then, of course, I run Ultimate Halo, which is taking a massive nosedive off a cliff right now in terms of viewership, but it's fine. Peaks and troughs.
That's how it is.
Yeah, but
Well, it's entirely dependent on the status of the franchise itself, isn't it? I mean, in a certain way.
Which isn't doing too hot. But then we talk about Halo, and this is, of course, not a Halo podcast, so
We don't say
Nice.
the H word here.
Yeah.
good thing I
Holy
said
fuck,
Halo.
man! You've got a great singing voice. I'm listening to your Bandcamp at the moment, and it's epic.
Well, that's not new stuff. But my voice
the
is much
classic
better.
trap of an artist. Don't listen to my old stuff.
It's the stuff you produced, one.
Yeah.
Oh, emo. Wow.
You know, it is a bit.
like
emo.
it, I like it.
I'm very much influenced by that. You know, like pop punk's my thing. You can hear it in like my melodies. I've always said like pop punk's like lullabies on steroids, and that's pretty much what my vocal melodies are. But I like to think they're catchy. Agree with me, Ludwig, please.
Damn right. Fucking damn right.
Well, we
Should we
really
talk
do.
about music? Should we
Do
get
talk
into
about
influences?
music? Should we? Oh yes.
Should we talk-
Oh,
Let's
hell
do it.
yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
This
right.
is practically a
Let's talk
music
music.
podcast because the thing we all have in common is being musicians.
Nothing else. Not anything that starts with
Not
an H.
nothing. It starts with an H.
Yeah, we found each other through the love of music. And
Well, how
nothing
about
else.
That's
this
what we
then?
did.
Like, who were three key influences? There we go. You're on the same page, Alyx. What are the three biggest influences everybody has?
C. Martin O'Donnell, Michael Salvatore, and C. Paul Johnson.
And what do they work on again?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you remember?
Marathon.
Yeah,
Oni.
Marathon,
Killzone.
Destiny.
Killzone.
Yeah. Just one spin-off game they did for like a big franchise, but I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere.
Destiny.
Nobody's
yeah,
playing
it was
it
like
anyway.
a spin-off.
Oof. Anyway, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Three biggest
Anyone else's
influences, though,
influences? Yes.
across the three of us. Oh, or the three of us. There's more
Are we
than
actually
three of
doing
us,
this?
The five of us. Yeah, we should. Yeah, you can start, Alex. You're in alphabetical order.
Okay. Let me think. I think the three biggest influences on at least the music I make, I think the biggest one would be Metallica. Like I grew up listening to them since I was like 7 or 8 years old because of my dad. Green Day, especially in a lot of the percussion stuff I do. It's very, I don't want to say simple, but it is. But at the same time, it always works well with the song. And let me think of one more. Daughter. Daughter is an indie band. They do a lot of like atmospheric, sort of
love Daughter.
environmentally sounding stuff. Oh, thank goodness somebody actually knows who Daughter is.
Yeah.
It's always creating like a vibe in the song. Each song has its own identity, and that's something I always try to achieve as well.
Very cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, I guess the next
Yeah.
person in line is you, Jack.
Me, chez moi. Oh. So first big one, with the exception of the new stuff, I think Tom DeLonge's kind of got like. I'm not as big of a fan of his new stuff, but like maybe the first 4 albums of Angels and Airwaves like transcended my understanding of music and like how he created like not just atmosphere but made the music feel bigger than itself. I always admired and you know when me and Ludwig are having discussions about producing the music. See, he works the magic on that front. Like I'm always like, make it sound big, make it sound atmospheric. I want like an ethereal sound that takes me out of this planet, but at the same time still grounded enough. Like it's still an acoustic song in its core, you know, and people can emotionally connect with some raw elements of that. So
And I fucking kill it.
You always kill it, Ludwig. One story
yeah.
I do
Lofty
have with me and
aspirations.
Ludwig. Yeah,
Oh, one story.
what Ludwig does basically, he'll be working on it. Like I'll just say, yeah, do your thing, just do it whenever you get time. And he'll send me a song. And there was one time I was at work, and he sends me this demo through. So I thought, well, screw it. Now's the perfect time to put my earphones in and go for a shit. And I go to the bathroom and I have my earphones in. I've got like tears streaming down my eyes. I was like, this guy has absolutely nailed it. And I sent him a message like, bro, I've got fucking tears in my eyes. And like Ludwig's like, yeah, man, I got you.
It's shit in my ass.
Yeah. So Ludwig nails it. He absolutely does. I wouldn't have anybody else touch my music.
What'd your coworkers say when you walked out of the bathroom with tears in your eyes?
He must have had some bad constipation, dude. Like, yeah. So, anyway,
That's why you had to
swiftly
leave
moving
that job. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've done much worse than that at my old job, don't worry. And then in terms of other influences, I'd say another big one is a band called Valencia. That they kind of like drove like my how to incorporate like really emotional elements of music lyrically, and also like how to build sound in a song. And I saw them live, my first gig in 2012 maybe, and I met the lead singer, and for me that was like my first time meeting someone I admired. And then other than that, my third maybe, you know, I'm not going to feel sorry for saying it, I fucking love Owl City passionately.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
Adam Young is an incredible musician, and it listen to his orchestral stuff as well. I mean, that's sensational. But yeah, of course, Fireflies and Good Time was cheesy, but he's so talented, and yeah, I love him.
Respect.
No one will ever like change my mind. So yeah,
Respect. Well, Neo?
I guess, I mean, it was okay. I actually
1,000
want
words or
to
less.
get our editor Zacarra in here. I want to hear what her
Yeah.
influences are.
Oh, are you sure? I'm not actually here.
Come on, you're a musician too. So in my book, you also count.
Oh, okay. Well, now I have to think of something intelligent to say. Oh, shit. Well, both of my parents are music educators. So I guess my mom, I would have to say, is probably the first
So sweet.
and biggest
That's so
musical
wholesome.
influence on me.
Oh, yeah.
She started giving me piano lessons when I was 4, and then finally I got frustrated, and she got frustrated with me, so my parents ended up sending me to another piano instructor, and then I started playing jazz, taking jazz piano lessons. So I guess my second biggest influence would be, or I guess my second influence would be Bill Evans. Just because I fell in love with his chord voicings and his lyrical improvisation and pretty much just everything that he did. And so, yeah, Bill Evans.
Spicy.
Let's see, and I guess either Paramore or Panic at the Disco. I'd probably Panic at the Disco. I have to say Panic at the Disco.
That's 3.
God, it's so...
Unless you want to list a 4th, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
I'll say 4. 4 sounds good.
Okay, are you sure? I mean, I can just... It's...
I'm not kidding. I'm being serious. I'll take a 4th one.
Okay. Let's see. We hit the wholesome home roots. We hit classical. No, we didn't hit classical. Okay. Let's see. Classical. Ooh, Brahms. No. I mean, yes, but also no. Ooh. Okay, he's an asshole. I'd just like to say this, and he's a really shitty human being. And absolutely, he was probably, 100% he was a piece of shit. And I don't condone any of his social whatever. But...
Who wasn't? Aren't you?
Yeah. But, Wagner?
Mm-hmm.
Richard Wagner.
You're going to cite Richard Wagner.
Well, yeah. I mean, his use of leitmotifs is just incredible, and the fact that that exists because of him.
It does.
But I guess, his way of storytelling through music has really influenced not only just my music, but also, the way that I write and, the way that I perceive art. And I feel like it just makes me try and understand where everything's coming from a little bit more and try and find those hidden meanings and everything. So
And that's why we're dating. Neo, now it's your turn.
Yeah. Can one of them be? I mean, if anyone who knows me probably knows where this is going, but can one of my sort of submissions just be a genre?
Sure, go for it.
Not as. Yeah, I mean, in my case, I guess
I'll allow it.
No, because if I couldn't do that, then you can't do that.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, no, I won't. Okay,
Yeah, what the fuck, Neo?
I won't give you a genre, but see, because there's 2 inspirations that I know I definitely clearly have, and I love you, Marty, and don't fire me from running your server, but he's actually not one of my inspirations. He's one of my inspirations for knowing that I wanted to do music as a career, but he's not one of my inspirations musically for my sound, I think. Yeah, I mean, if I had to... I know one of the artists that this is a bit of a double because the 2 of them go hand in hand, but Jim Morrison and The Doors, I think they're one of the artists in his poetry and his lyrical work as well. Specifically, that's a case where I started listening to The Doors, and actually listening to the discography and really getting to know them through the music they made. And I would say that changed my life in a way. It kind of opened my eyes up to a completely different approach and way of kind of interpreting music and sort of going through with it by feel. And also, it was sort of the first time I started really looking at song lyrics as well, and kind of realizing how much strength there is that can be imbued with sort of the meaning behind writing of lyrics or whatever, and you can tell another story under sort of layers and layers of interpretation and things with lyrics. I mean, I really enjoy songwriting, especially lyrical stuff, and I think The Doors and especially Jim's work has been a really big inspiration for me finding my passion for that.
What is it exactly? Because what inspires you lyrically? Because let's say, for example, one of the reasons I love Owl City is just, and the only way I can describe the way he writes lyrics is he writes lyrics with colour, and it's just the imagery that he creates through some of his lyrics is just wild. So what is it exactly about the lyrics? Because I don't know who this guy is.
Oh yeah, I'll find one of my favorite performances of him.
You don't know the Doors?
My three favorite Doors songs are "Riders on the Storm" because the Crystal Ship,
Riders
which is
on the
just
Storm.
something about the Crystal Ship
okay,
is something I've
yeah.
always just loved, and
Okay, yeah.
When the Music's Over, which is one of just such a good live performance. But for me, with Morrison, I guess sonically, it was how a lot of his lyrics sort of have this, and I suppose it's in a way it's his voice as well, and it's how he articulates it. But the sort of the ebb and flow of his lyrics, and how there's like sometimes some sort of wordplay involved, and it has kind of like its own sort of rhythm. It's like an instrument in itself. There's such a focus on it, and it's all how much it's based off just like, you know, it's all just like feeling, and that's always been something that you know, sometimes when I look back to some of the stuff I've made, I feel like I can see some of him having had a big influence in that. So to me, The Doors is really, really important, both just as, you know, one of the bands that I think defined classic rock as it's become in history, as well as just being just absolutely talented musicians. So that's one. Second one is probably my dad, who was a musician, and he did some stuff before my time. I don't think they never released anything new internationally, so they were just a kind of local band. But I have really strong memories of just growing up, especially when I was about 9 to 12, and my dad kind of had sort of like a, you know, like a home studio in one of the rooms here, and so he was always recording music, and I'd always hear him singing or recording guitar or working on his projects. And I actually have a folder of all of these like unreleased demos and stuff that I always listen to from time to time. And I think, you know, always listening to his stuff, it's always been really inspiring to me in terms of, I think, how much passion is in the music, but also because the music he makes is, I feel, so different from the music I make. So I always find it really interesting to kind of have someone that's sort of, you know, as close as we are, because he's my dad. And then I always find it fascinating to kind of sort of look back at what I've done, look back at what he does, and see what the similarities are, but also how different they can be. I like to think, you know, a big part of that is obviously because our life experiences are so different. You know, I mean, well, he's nearly 50, so that kind of is a big difference there. But I just find it really just interesting to observe as a point in time. But also, my dad is a big inspiration, I think, for my drive of wanting to pursue music as a career. Nobody in our family, to my knowledge, has sort of made it successfully or had a actual primary career in any creative discipline, music or art or kind of anything like that. And so, you know, always growing up, when I've always been listening to his stuff, and especially now that sort of I've come into my own and I work on my things as well, I always kind of see him as like the milestone of like, okay, well, he got this far. I want to be the one in our family to like go the next step. I want to be the one to, you know, make it and go somewhere. I want to kind of make him proud, and I want to take what he was doing and, you know, kind of imbue that within me, but then actually go further and kind of like be the first person to sort of bring that to our family. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Keeping it wholesome.
Beautiful.
This section.
Yeah.
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 So much family influence.
I've always loved his stuff as well. His stuff was always like alternate rock. I think one of his biggest inspirations is Kurt Cobain and like grunge music and stuff. That was like absolutely his thing back in his day. So I've always liked his really like alternate rock stuff. A lot of the mixes for them that I have from the demos are just horribly fucking crunched, and they're all like kind of air quality MP3s, which is a bit of a shame. But I've always loved his songs and his songwriting. So that's always been something that I've kind of always had there in the, you know, it's always sort of been in my peripheral as something that I kind of like take with me where I go when I do music and stuff. My third one So my cop-out answer was new wave, because the music and stuff that I work on is very much, I think my style is absolutely 100%. A lot of the sort of sonic inspiration behind it comes from the new wave era of 80s music, which was kind of like the British invasion of rock or whatever, where it was sort of this like next generation of like a fusion of like synthesizers and electronic music and like a bit of punk in there, a bit of rock, and it was all sort of coming together and as a sort of like the new attitude of music from the late 70s to the 80s. And if anyone's listened to a lot of kind of the signature 80s pop music that has such a very sort of distinct sound to it, if I had to pick a specific artist,
It can be a
that's
grouping
like
of
such
artists.
a hard one.
You have to refer to artists.
Okay, I can give you 4. I can give you like a nice like mix melting pot of the 4 artists that I think possibly I can see my sort of sound having roots in those 4.
You like breaking the rules,
which would
don't
be
you?
oh yeah. Well, see, I'm supposed to be the one that like bends the rules, right? I mean, that's my whole like namesake, being Neo and stuff. But
I wasn't going to make the
definitely,
joke because
I
you
think,
told me off of that joke earlier, and I really wanted to.
self-joking is okay, all right? But I've had enough of that shit growing up.
Fair enough.
But no, I think the 4 biggest sort of like of the 80s sound inspirations to me have always been sort of the Human League, which started as this really interesting kind of avant-garde synth project that it became far more sort of poppy as they went on. There were lineup changes and stuff like that. But the Human League has always been a really, really big one I love. My favorite Human League song is either Seconds or Love Action. They're both really good songs.
Where are they from?
They're English, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they're all English. So I know the main singer's name is Phil Oakley. But yeah, they do some really cool stuff. But their 80s stuff especially, I've always loved. So there's Human League, there's Tears for Fears, which I actually haven't listened to their whole discography, and I like what I've heard of them, and I'm not like a huge super fan, but I feel like Tears for Fears were one of the first times I sort of listened to artists, and I was like, there's so much sort of like passion and emotion in the performance of hearing them sing and what they do in those tracks. And especially from the album Songs from the Big Chair, which is like, that's the one that has like Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Shout and like all those ones. The production sound of it is just like flawless. It's incredible. It's so big sounding.
I don't think you need to have listened to an artist's all of an artist's work to be influenced by them. You can be influenced by one song sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Human League, Tears for Fears. Third one would probably be In Excess, which is another case of they were an Australian band, which sort of started as like pub rock in the 70s, and so they're really new wave from the heart. Their mid 80s stuff is incredible. The singer Michael Hutchinson, like, great fucking songwriting. Some of like my favorite songs from In Excess. I think my 2 favorites are Just Keep Walking and one song, which actually, there's a song that I've written called Tears, and every time I hear it, I hear a lot of this song in it, which is Don't Change? Yeah, In Excess, Don't Change. Amazing song. It has a synth lead going through it. It's like so fucking cool. It was supposed to be 4, but I've actually forgotten what the 4th one is, and I'm already cheating, so I'll probably stop there.
Respectable. It's fine. I think we got a pretty good picture of. You should drop some of your music in the music chat in the Discord, and everybody should do that. Everybody should drop something that they like that they did. Please, if you would.
Hell yeah.
That makes me next, doesn't it? Thankfully, Wernissage goes after me every time we do this alphabetical thing. Because
I'm always last. I'm always
if I
last.
completely ruin it, then at least Wernissage can pick it back up. Here's the thing. It depends. By trade, I'm a jazz musician. I play saxophone. But and I play baritone saxophone first. This is an alto saxophone. This is really not my voice, I say. But the reason I play baritone is because when I first heard a musician named Pepper Adams, it turned me around, and my life changed completely. And I started playing baritone saxophone. He's got a very specific way of playing baritone that it was very much aside from really any other baritone players at the time and since, in my opinion. And so it struck me, and I followed that train. And if you were to hear me play baritone saxophone and you knew the lexicon of saxophonists, you would say, "Oh, you sound like Pepper Adams," because I've heard that every time. And that was intentional. But this is tough because I could just name 3 saxophonists who influenced my saxophone sound. The music that the only music I've ever put out has been jazz, sans one track on its own. It's not going to be the last in this vein, I don't think, but that track was definitely the strongest influence. There was a small Greek musician named Vangelis who did an independent sci-fi film called Blade Runner. And Vangelis's music does something to me, I guess. It's like, I don't like everything Vangelis did. He did a lot of really stupid, cheesy stuff. But he also has a couple of shiner hits that are, especially what happens in Blade Runner. The way that their synths are all, it's almost like they're alive and they're organically interacting. It's like an organism. In that vein, I'm gonna make a sub entry in that side of things for an artist called Disasterpiece, who did the music to a game called Hyper Light Drifter, and I find that music to be. I first heard that like 2 years ago, and I'm still figuring out what the hell it is, but the feeling that it gives me is something that I'm chasing always. There's something. That is like Blade Runner times 10 in terms of organic synthesizers. I think it's very cool. That's my number 2 pick, is that realm of kind of music. And then thirdly, I've been sweating about this as you guys have been going down your lists. I could name another jazz musician probably. But generally speaking, I'm in terms of the music I make most often is jazz. And the music that I listen to, music I listen to and the music I make are often 2 very different things for me. So this is tough. But in terms of the music I make, I'll focus on the music that I make, and being jazz. I'm gonna say it's Pepper Adams, like I said. The other non-jazz being the Vangelis, and I'm gonna have to just tie in to another side of jazz, and I think that would be. It's tough. I feel like it's not fair to you guys for me to only come up with 2, but
it's okay. I mean, we could use 2. We've had a lot of information for the last couple of minutes. It's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at those just for the sake of being as pure as possible. Otherwise, I'd just be throwing my hat in on something that isn't not a full yes to. So, not a full truth on. So that's my submission. Me putting in 2 makes up 4. Zacarra doing 4 and Neo doing 7 or something.
All right, well, Vern, now you got to do like 20. You have to top all of us.
Yeah. I'm gonna do 1. No, I'm gonna.
Is that me?
I'm gonna do the old school 3. What was that, Jack?
I said that number 1, me.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Definitely.
So.
No, but you're probably gonna be quite happy though, because I think all my 3 picks are British bands.
I listen to a lot of American bands though, so that doesn't really make much difference to me. I don't really listen to British music. To be honest.
Okay, yeah. I think I listen to more British music than you do.
Probably, yeah.
No, but like the music that got me into making music is actually, I think you've heard you've all heard of it. The Script. Do you guys know which band that is?
Oh yeah.
Like that's like my teenager music. That's kind of what got me into it. What made me start playing guitar basically and start writing my own songs. So my early songs were very inspired by The Script, but it's not really something I listen to anymore. Now it's more like I'd say it doesn't really reflect on my music, but Radiohead has always been like my number one artist / band. It's just like my songs don't sound like Radiohead songs, but they always go beyond the rules of what a song should be, and like how they produce their songs and their lyrics and stuff. And I just can't like make anything sound like that, which is fine. But I think that's why I like it. Like I don't understand how they make their music, but I think it's incredible. Like everything they've done. And other than that, so that's my first one. My second one, probably Elbow, if you guys know that. It's a British band as well. It's like, I don't know how to describe it, like alternate rock, I guess, kind of. And my final one, which is probably the most similar to my music, is Keane, which is also a British band, which is something I grew up with in my family. Like, yeah, I mean, everyone knows Somewhere Only We Know, that song. There's like some fucking bangers like deep in their stuff, especially in their like two first albums, like Hopes and Fears and Under the Iron Sea. It's so fucking good. So that's my three bands. Now I mostly listen to like Canadian alternate rock bands for some reason, but this is more of the bands that like inspired me to make music. So yeah, Keane, Elbow, and Radiohead. There we go. Speed round.
Where do we go
That's
from
very
here?
succinct.
Because like we went balls deep on that one. That conversation topic, man. Like shit.
Yeah. Now we're doing 10. We're just gonna go another round.
Right. Yeah. Well, your top 10. Yeah.
I fear we'd be here all night. I think that's my only issue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We would be.
Yeah. I think we're good now. So yeah.
Don't let us keep you, scheduling stuff as well. If you got to bounce, just give the word and
I'm chilling.
Good.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
I mean,
yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next deepest place to go from there is to talk about. How,
Oh, no, we can hear it. There
okay.
we are.
Well, it's in the recording at
Classic.
least, so you'll be able to use that in my responses to everyone's talks.
Oh yeah.
The next deepest place we can go from there is obviously how we got into Halo. Kidding. Although we
The
can't
three
talk
reasons
about that.
why we. No, that's for another episode though.
The upsetting thing is I have so many words that I can't mention in this podcast. Stories. Like if there ever is opportunity you want to talk pure Halo stories, I've got some sick ones.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Especially me
Okay,
like
we get a
Matty
sneak
O'Donnell and shit like that, you know.
A sneak
like,
peek. Give us a sneak peek of something.
sneak peek. I don't know. Well, it's against the rules. I don't break rules. I kept to the rules. I did 3
yeah.
musicians, so I keep.
Yeah,
to
we
the
were the
rules,
only
you know.
ones who stuck
Fair
to it.
enough. Fair enough.
So
Well, I mean, yeah, we do want to save some topics for when we have Fletch back, if he would
yeah,
take our
yeah,
invitation.
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Of course. By the way, who sent me the invite? Was it you, Noah?
I think so.
Did you?
I mean,
yeah, he
yeah,
sent
it
to
would've
the
been.
main Ultimate Halo page. I don't check
Oh.
that. Like, so,
Oh, you need. Yeah, I
that's
should have
right.
sent that to your. Right. Fair enough.
yeah, just the Fletcher account. I don't really tweet from the
Yeah.
Ultimate Halo page. So
Yeah.
I was like messaging Ludwig like, "Yo, where's this invite, bro?" And he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Sure, he sent it to you."
No, you're good call. Good call. Okay, good to know. Yeah, yeah. Join the Discord if you need more Discord notifications.
Don't you have like a Facebook page too, Jack?
I've got everything, man. I kept
Yeah.
ass touching that shit. I had an admin on my Facebook page, and it was like,
I mean,
I'm going to do my.
Who
go on.
checks Facebook anyway? Like,
I have a Facebook page, but I don't fucking maintain it.
Yeah, same.
It's
it's
kind of tedious to.
If you want to talk
Do
to
the
Marky
Facebook
Mark in
pages,
the
I
meta,
feel like-
you better get on the Facebook train, the new hip thing.
Yeah.
Fuck it, just find me on Twitter or some shit. I mean, I'm on there.
Twitter's the place to be for the Halo community.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it is.
Facebook's
Unfortunately.
toxic. TikTok and Instagram, people just steal your artwork and don't give you credit for it. And it fucks me off to no end. And then when you confront them about it, they're just like, "Oh, I'm sharing your artwork, bro. You should be happy." I'm like, "Yes, but you're not even telling them it was me."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
fuck, man.
Like I saw that on like the other day with your artwork with the Arbiter and Zacarra Allyn, right? And someone fucking shared it on Reddit and like they cut out your name too, right? And they didn't even.
Yeah, they actually cut, man. They didn't even like save
That's
the picture.
so
They just screenshotted the tweet, reposted that shit.
God,
Yeah.
it's the lowest.
This
Some guy
would be
felt
dope.
bad for me and he sent me like Reddit coins. I don't understand
Oh.
Reddit, if I'm honest with you. And he sent me like it's like 100 Reddit coins or something. And I was like, "Oh, cheers!" Like, what do I do with them? And I felt really bad because I just
Yeah.
didn't know what Reddit coins was. Like, "Oh, you can get like ad-free browsing." I was like, "Oh, cool." And I DM'd the guy. I was
Plays
like,
an ad blocker.
and I was like, "Yo, just credit me. It's not hard." It's like he actually deleted the post because, like, I mean, including you, Ludwig. Like, loads of people started going in on him once they realised he'd reposted it. So it's like, "Yeah, I was getting a load of hate on it, so I took it down. But I am really sorry. I love your channel." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." Yeah, but some people just do it without thinking. But it's kind of like the way I look at it, especially with Instagram pages, I don't sit there for X amount of hours for them to grow and peddle their own page. I'm like, I'm doing this for this will be something the community will enjoy, and two, I do it to grow my own presence, not to give you yours. Like, you learn a skill and do something yourself and upload it, not my shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's one of the things, right? Because like the whole thing is like, well, Instagram is literally. I mean, you know, a lot of social places are, but like Instagram is literally, oh yeah, it's a gallery of things that you scroll past. People will see a thing, they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." Double tap it, move on.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things with Instagram is it's not really good in terms of like having a place to very clearly sort of credit creators outside of the description, which people won't see unless they do the whole show more thing.
Yeah.
But also Instagram is kind of bad because in itself it doesn't have any sort of repost system or like anything like that. You can't share other stuff that's on Instagram
You can on a
your
story
own
now,
Instagram.
but you can't repost it as something on the feed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, which is bad. I mean, Twitter is kind of also has its own problems, but one of the great things of Twitter is the fact that you can directly repost someone else's content, and then it shows up on your timeline, but it also gives the context to the original post, and people can go to the original post as well.
Well, to be honest, though, like some people just, I saw fragrant with it anyway. They just, like some people just do not give a shit either way. Like there was a big thing where some guy was literally ripping my videos, translating them into Italian, and putting his watermark over my watermark. And you can still see my gamer tag in the gameplay as well. And and like loads of people like flamed on him and gave like just the army of Halo fans went at him. And he made a video like trying to explain his rationale. He's like, what's the difference between doing that and just retweeting something? And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, and I just, at that point, I just thought, you know what? I'm not even going to try like, can't
argue
argue
with
that. Because
stupid.
if you are able to perform such mental gymnastics, then there's just 0 point trying to articulate why you are wrong. So
Zero.
If there's one thing I've learned, you can't negotiate with the Halo community.
Oh no, it's true. It's not open for discussion.
Yeah.
anyway, we're veering into Halo now. It's dangerous.
Oh yeah, that's No, we could talk about art. Like art.
Frankly,
is
it happens
definitely,
every time.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
it's I want to say I have a lot of experience with that because I post a lot of art in the Halo community, and
Really?
you know, it's yeah.
Can you send some of your
Haven't you
stuff?
seen
I
it?
have
Like,
no idea what that looks like.
Yeah, I can send my Imgur. I don't know what the fuck that is.
You have an Imgur?
No,
Is that how you say it?
I don't even
I
know
thought it
what
was Imgur.
No, it's Imgur.
Imgur.
Actually, it is Imgur.
Is it actually?
Fuck.
And I thought it was
Oh, it
Imgur
is.
for the
Okay,
longest
yeah.
time, and I had a big epiphany that it was Imgur.
Oh no. No, but like, yeah, that's definitely like, it's a lot of fun to share your art because a lot of people really support it and they think it's fun. But you know, there's always going to be those who just like repost it without telling you like you can just retweet me, like, for fuck's sake. And you know, there's always going to be those people that don't really think about, like, oh, there's a person who made this. I don't fucking care. I'm just going to quote retweet it and say, like, oh, this looks fucking awful. Look at this shit. Haha. And then my fucking day is ruined. You know, posting art on social media is, yeah, it's quite.
You know, I don't get though. Similar to that though, Ludwig, is, you know, when people quote retweet something and then they just put awesome, and it's like,
Why didn't you just comment?
you're not really adding. I wish you could see my facial expression right now if you're listening to this podcast, because it's kind of like, what? Like, you're not really adding it. You may as well just retweet it and then comment, like, do a reply to that.
Yeah, that's
saying,
a bit weird.
Awesome. And I'm just like,
See, I think they do that so they can feel better about having their own separate like and retweet count.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you quote retweet, it becomes your post. Whereas if you normally retweet something, it still has the
to
like and
your-
repost count of the original content.
I actually,
It's fucking bullshit, though.
for long and complicated reasons, I actually had to try to explain Twitter to my parents this week. And we sat down. I was trying to explain the difference between a tweet and a DM, why you can only have so many characters. And I got halfway through, like, trying to articulate it. And I was like, I just said to my parents, if you know what? Forget it. I don't think you're going to understand it. I don't think you ever will, no matter how much I try to explain it. If you ever want to tweet something or DM someone, just ask me and I'll do it for you. So it's just a minefield. It's hard to articulate what exactly it is, especially in comparison to other social medias.
Yeah, it's really
true.
hard to, like, explain a specific social media to specifically older people who haven't had that much experience. Like, it's kind of like Instagram, but on Instagram you can't retweet, and, like, oh, what's the difference of, like, sharing it in a story and retweeting, you know? So I don't know. It's like it's similar, but it's really different.
I do treat my Twitter like an Instagram. Like, I pretty much almost exclusively just post photos.
Yeah,
But
like dick pics and stuff.
well, you can get put in prison for unsolicited dick pics, so you got to be careful, man.
Oh, you can't fuck.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
Well, where's your alt account, Vern? Come on. Where's your sin stuff?
You gotta find it. My
well,
the art.
it
of
wouldn't be that
dicks.
alt if I told you what it was.
Oh no! Don't tell them.
Don't you worry. It'll be my secret.
Nice.
That's right.
Everyone has their dick account, right?
That's right.
Only the boys understand.
I was going to make
The
a great
Boys
joke. But
podcast. Yeah.
I actually don't, hey.
I was going to make a great
fucking-
joke, but it just caused trouble in the Halo community, so I'll...
Uh-oh.
Dude, the Halo community has fucking trouble whether you do anything or not.
Well, the thing is,
Fair.
I don't find myself ever in a bad spot in the community. Like, it purely depends on who you follow and who you actually just give the time of day. Like, but if you buy it, people, they'll pull back and they'll start, causing shit then. So, thankfully, I don't really get that much shit, and I'm pretty good at carrying myself online. But
You are.
when you have an opinion
I
like
really
Ludwig
think
and you
that's true.
redesign stuff, whoa.
Yeah, you're probably like the most controversy-free Halo YouTuber, I'd say. Like a lot of
Never
Halo
used to be
YouTubers.
that way.
Oh, it did.
No, I mean, there's a Halo follower drama. Like, you have to just Google
Oh,
Halo
no,
follower
it's-
drama, and my name's
Yeah.
right at the top of there. But
Yeah, that's.
Ultimate Halo
enough.
used to have a bit of an edgy phase, and we used to
I've-
speak to our subscribers like shit. Like, someone would post like their thoughts on something, and we're just like, nah, shut the fuck up, kid. We used to reply to people like that because it was just kind of like we were just trying to stand out, and that wasn't really my doing because there was a group channel back then. But
Yeah.
definitely not that way anymore. Like, carry myself a lot better.
It is an
Yeah.
interesting channel in the fact that it started as a group channel and it's now in your possession. Do you plan to pass it along someday? Or is it yours now?
That's a good question. It's mine. Yeah, no, like sole ownership. I mean, Kenny is the spark guy. We have had these discussions, like, kind of, it showed interest in coming back. But for me, it was kind of like Kenny is fantastic content creator. He's so crazily talented. But for me, it's become such a part of my identity, and like I put so much work in in a time where there was so much absent content for Halo that like I kind of feel like I've got the right to have this as my own baby now.
Yeah.
But it will forever be a part of its history. But you know, maybe I'll bring friends on to help out if I require the skills. There's something I've got on my radar at the minute, which I'm keeping close to my chest because I don't want people stealing my ideas. But
I remember talking to you like about me. Kind of, it wasn't that serious, but you kind of mentioned that like, oh, do you want to be a part of Ultimate Halo somehow? I was like, fuck yeah, I thought it was so fucking cool. But then I
think you've done the right thing in forging your own path as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fun, but I do enjoy like making my own stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I had this conversation with someone like probably a few weeks ago. Like, back in the Halo 5 days and the MCC days, group channels were the big thing. Everyone had a group channel. There were so many of them. Now there are barely any, and for good reason. There's too much politics, there's money, there's direction, there's characters. There's just... And you know, Ultimate Halo had Wang Time, which is now Pixel Flare. Will's a big character, you know, he's a really entertaining guy, but we're all very different people. Worked in very different ways, and it's kind of like, how do you balance that? And obviously we did
eventually the vision split.
And we're all doing well. Kenny's doing well. He's worked for Facebook Gaming, Turn 10, you know, stuff like that. Obviously Will's working for 343 and Xbox.
Doing pretty well in terms of Halo.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
Oh yeah.
I left my job and took a gamble, and I fucked it because the channel's dying right now. Like I say, peaks and troughs, but you know, we've all done
you're
some
live
pretty
streaming
awesome
and stuff,
shit.
which seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Ultimate Halo show's like really like doing really well. We've got Nade God and Actman next week, so that should be
hell yeah,
that should be entertaining. It was supposed to be yesterday, but couldn't nail them both down at the same time. So yeah, it's good fun. A lot of work, but good fun.
Seems like it would be. Yeah, Wernissage and I started YouTube channels at the same time, but I think it's pretty apparent what the you kind of have to tap into what people want to see in addition to putting out stuff you want. Because I started my channel strictly because there was no channel that did what I do, and I just thought it had to be done. But I knew that this was an incredibly personal venture, you know. Whereas what Wernissage talks about is seems to be way more in the zeitgeist for the general conversation, as it were.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I don't know how it happened, and it's not like I have like 100,000 subscribers like this Brit right here. But you know, I think I was just lucky because I did what I wanted to do. Like, because like the thing that kind of made me explode, quote unquote, was the redesigning Halo video, and that was something I didn't think that would do well at all. I was just like, oh, that would be fun to like redesign some weapons, and I've seen like maybe 2 creators do that before, and they didn't like, they got some views, but it wasn't even that much. So I was like, yeah, let's just do something similar to that, and yeah, I think I was just lucky. Like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna keep going with that. We'll see how long I can keep it up. They're probably gonna get bored sometime.
Again, you know, clearly it wasn't your intention was just to do things that you were interested in, but it just so happened that the things you were interested in were things that people talk about with great fervor, which is visual design.
Sometimes it's fun and interesting. Sometimes it's just like my latest video. I worked way too much on that, and you know, some people really liked it. Some people like, okay, that's fine. Some people,
it looks like it's paying off. The viewership on it is
the views are okay, but you know, a lot of people had some negative things to say about me personally, like as a person. And I was like, okay, well, shit, I kind of hate making art sometimes. Like I even made like I even put out a story for like an hour because I was just so fucking pissed. Like, I hate this. I hate making art and putting it out there. But then I realized, like, okay, well, it's, you know, it has its up and downs. Like, it's fun, but sometimes, you know, you kind of get over flooded by all the negativity. Like,
you can't always let it get to you though. Like, because like you can really put yourself in an awful position mentally if you allow it. Like I've had so
yeah.
much shit over the years for various things.
Yeah.
But like, and you know, having an opinion obviously is an illegal thing to do on the internet these days. So
Yeah.
and it's just sort
How
of
dare you.
look, you got to acknowledge that some people live in the basement, don't see daylight, and don't have anything else to get worried about. Some people are
Literally
constructive, and you know what? If oh yeah, I can relate. But
They
if,
don't know the definition of a breast.
well, that's true.
Yeah. They
And
don't have any breasts.
and the problem, you know, but if someone's willing to like be constructive and be like polite and constructive, like, and I think there are enough of those people like out there, then I think that makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
You know, I have people
Yeah,
commenting on my art saying, "Oh, maybe you could have done this." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually." Like, feedback's a gift, man. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I want to say I'm pretty good at, you know, taking in feedback. Like I always want to hear feedback. I love it when people like kind of shit on my art, but at least, you know, respecting like, but like you can try this or you can try that. But the only thing I can kind of like sometimes lose myself in is when someone like just attacks it and like, what the fuck have you done? You've ruined my day. I was like, and I'm like, you know, I'm not 343. I just want to make some art. Like, fuck you. Like, I don't write fuck you, but you know, sometimes it's just like,
Yeah. I think
that's the first
did
time
you
I've heard you
have
say
to write
that.
that? Like, yeah, but like, do
You
you
gotta
have
get Wernissage
to
more angry.
fuck off? No, but like, do you have to shit on someone's work just because it doesn't appeal to you personally, even though you see all the work they put in? You know, it's something I just got to get used to, and something I have gotten used to more or less, but it still gets me sometimes because it's, you know, we're all human beings after all. You know, we don't. When I get on Reddit and I see everyone just shitting on something I've done, it does get me down. But then I have my awesome Discord, and like most other social media, it's just like a great place to be on, and so it's always worth it.
Yeah, it's like don't create like a bubble or echo chamber
Yeah.
for yourself when you're putting yourself out there. But at the same time, you know, learn to just get by that and keep making the stuff that both makes other people happy as well as yourself happy.
I think one of the important things as well is when you're making. Well, actually, no. This is to the point until money gets involved, because obviously, you know, you got to eat, right?
Yeah.
But I think one of the important things with art is to always recognize that, you know, whether you're doing it, whether, you know, someone else likes or benefits from the thing that you do, or you can sort of look at the work you've made and, you know, you can like it for yourself. I think either way, it's always important to remember that like what you make does have value, even if maybe not everyone sees it that way. But, you know, I'm always like, with the stuff I make, if it has value to one person in the world, whether it's me or someone else, I've done what I've wanted to do. I've accomplished my goal with the stuff I make.
And it's not just that; it's also what value does it give to yourself? Because, like, I mean, you know, like my artwork, I only did it for fun, and people enjoyed it. But it's kind of like, actually, I've noticed each time I've done a new artwork piece, I've improved drastically each time, and that's that. Self-development's a huge thing as well, just towards being a better human being and being a productive, functioning member of society. So it's like, well, what? Just as equally, what's it giving yourself as opposed to someone else as well, you know?
Yeah, I think
You ever get that feeling after making something where you look back on it and you're like, holy shit, I actually made this. This is something I made.
Best
You know?
moments.
That's literally like when Ludwig sends me a demo for one of my songs. Like, this is my song, but this sounds so sick. Like, you know,
My voice.
hell yeah.
No,
I just
I
kind
hear
of
you.
got
Choose
a
that,
pitch
man.
correction.
I hear your
Auto-tune.
accounts of getting absolutely flagged by people, and I have not had that because it's something that happens at a certain tipping point. I think.
Oh,
in terms of
definitely.
follower base, and
Yeah.
I'm so not past that tipping point. You know, my channel has like 200 something subs, like 200. That is like 3 digits, which is in certain ways great because. Look, those 200 people really want to be there, and they want to hear what I have to say about what I'm doing. And again, you know, the premise that I started my channel on is one that really only appeals to someone who, A, is into Halo, B, is into music, like a musician generally, because I use freaking musical score to communicate. I try to make it accessible for someone who doesn't read musical score by the way that I write the
Jazz
script.
kids in their fucking theory.
Yeah, goddamn theory, nuts. But
Can everybody
yeah, I mean,
here read off a stave? Can everyone?
I can if you give me 10 minutes.
Okay.
My theory, like my actual theory, is really good, but I've always struggled to read sheet music or interpret it in real time. I can if you give me some sheet music in 10 minutes, I can memorize it, but then I'm playing it back from memory. I'm not playing as I'm reading, and they're kind of like two different things.
Wait, can you, Jack?
No, I don't have a fucking clue, man.
No, okay,
I
no, me neither.
Yeah.
I went to music
never-
school. I mean, I actually
I just taught
learned.
myself.
Yeah, I learned. But I started piano lessons at the age of 6, and I was reading music off then. So I mean, I've been reading music the whole way through. But when you play in band, you have to learn to read music, because the only way that music can be communicated to the kids is musical stave. So, but that's the way also the way that I've come to, as I've become an actual, original artist making my own things. It's the way that I think of music. I think of it in the written form in my head. Like I visualize it that way. So it's the way that I communicate my analyses in my videos. But I also think that an analysis channel, a channel that doesn't necessarily, I'm not going in and changing anything up. I haven't opened myself up all that much to somebody coming in and having a disagreement with me in some way, because what I'm talking about is the objective truth of the music.
Yeah.
More so. So I mean, it would be interesting as time goes on and my ideas, and I actually follow some of the ideas I have that are a little beyond that, to see what people's response is.
Yeah, try and redesign some scores and see see the effect.
Well, I've definitely thought about
Good
that
luck.
and
Yeah,
putting
that would
on a
be
Swedish
awesome.
accent for it.
Yes. This is Noah from TravellingHalo.
Exactly.
There it is.
Yeah.
No, but I think you're completely right. Like at a certain point, like all the haters start to come in, because it's interesting, like how you said, Jack, like you feel like you improve with every work you do, which I think too, but I feel like I've more or less gotten more negative responses with for every video, more or less, not exactly, but I think that's something like because like when you look at your first works, they probably won't look very good to you right now, but I think it's more the love and the passion that gets through to the audience back then.
I think the difference with you though, Ludwig, is like your work leans heavily into interpretation, whereas for me, I'm just kind of like ripping assets and just making something like look snazzy, But whereas like with you, it's kind of like it's always a what if scenario. And think about it this way: a good analogy for what you do is the Halo TV show. Like,
oh yeah,
we're going a little bit too much into Halo here, but it's a different interpretation of the same characterization of what Halo is.
Yeah.
That just deviates ever so slightly for one reason or another. So that's that's quite divisive by nature, not intentionally for the sake of being divisive, but we're humans, we all have different opinions on how certain things should be. So
I think that's interesting because it's like it's understandable because some people just see my posts on Twitter and stuff, but like on YouTube, especially with the later videos, I always say like this is just like how a fan redesigns this. Like this is my opinion. This is my designs. You don't have to agree with me. This is not something official. Just like, and I respect the original work. But I guess some people just don't really think like that. They just see someone butcher their favorite helmet and they're just pissed. But that's kind of understandable. Like obviously that's going to happen. And I think the internet is just like a place for that kind of stuff.
It's a minefield.
It is. A beautiful minefield.
I'm looking through some of my old art right now, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, like...
Jesus Christ. That's what I tried telling you back then.
Well,
You
it's like
fucking
as a
suck. No.
I agree.
it's also like as a person you evolve, and it's not just your skills that'll change. It's things like your tastes and
Yeah, exactly.
that kind of thing as
Your
well.
approach.
Obviously, when you make something, you're making it based on who you are in the moment.
Yes.
That's something that I always really enjoy, kind of looking back on old stuff, and it's kind of like sort of the products, or anything that you create in a way is a time capsule of you at that point in time. So in some ways, I always find it really interesting to look back at my old stuff and be like, huh, this was me when I was going through whatever I was going through in life X years ago, which in a way I think is always kind of a cool thing to think about from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, I do that musically as well. Like, when I write my lyrics, like, you could probably, like, if you listen to all these hundreds of songs that I've written, and if you heard them all, you can say, all right, well, that was breakup number 1, that was breakup number 2, that was accident in his life.
That right now.
That was, this is him being a bit more hopeful now. You can see how, like, I've matured. I think that's part of being, like, a creative as well, But one thing what I will say is, my overuse of lens flares will be eternal and has always been consistent throughout everything I've ever done. So,
the biggest culprit is Will, though, right? Pixel.
Yeah,
Fire.
he's a big influence for that.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say that, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it started.
and I'll be forever thankful.
Yes.
Well, I feel like the wearing your heart on a sleeve thing is endemic to the I play guitar and sing musics, the various genres that fit under that, because as someone who can hide behind a big brass tube, I am also expressing myself in a way that is incredibly sentimental at times, but I can mask that and make it not as literal. So if you listen to the music that I make, it's also putting my music on record is way different from hearing it in person, which is true of most any music. But jazz, there's a certain thing with that. I hear the EP thing that I made, it's 4 years ago now. Good Lord. I hear where I was at that time as a person, but you can still you're still hiding behind decades worth of history, because in a certain way it's recreation music. It's more so than creation music, in a certain way, to where you're actually espousing a tradition, almost equally with your actual in the moment modern. Because frankly, jazz is not relevant anymore in the popular culture. So that puts a jazz musician of today in an interesting position, because you are doing something creative and you're the first person to play the music that you're playing at this moment. But for the listener and the artist are in two very different places in that way, because they're just hearing just yet another jazz musician. But this is all exciting and new for you. So it's like, how do you feel comfortable with the feedback or lack of feedback and lack of listenership as a jazz musician? I feel like what I've done in terms of my Halo channel is like most kids that are like, I'd like to start a YouTube channel and get popular talking about Halo, wouldn't have gone the subject matter that I went, because they would have known that no one would have been interested. But inherently in my background, I feel like I already am fully comfortable with that basic concept, that way of navigating, a creative outlet.
Yeah, that kind of goes together with what you said before. Like, you'd rather have like 200 subscribers that really care about you than now, well, I'm not shitting on Ultimate Halo, but now you're just covering Halo news, and but you have you have more subscribers that don't really care, and you don't even care about what you're doing. But the difference is, you, Jack, you actually do like what you're doing, I believe, with your live streams and all of that. There is passion there, which I think some people just want to start a YouTube channel because they want to get famous and they want to have a lot of subs. But I think it's always preferable to do it out of passion. I think that's a lot better.
Because when there is no passion, like it just shines through straight away, like what your intent is. You know, I mean, I'll admit, like, partially because of out of necessity. Like, there are some videos where, like, I don't really want to do this video, but I know it'll probably do well. I'm gonna shit it out, and that's it. But that's just kind of a concession you have to make sometimes when you're kind of in the position where I'm at, where like I'm trying to make a go of it. But like, you know, the Ultimate Halo show was a huge, like, took me fucking forever to be able to get in a position where like it looked good, it was functional, it was entertaining. And I could have easily just kept on doing what I was doing with my other stuff and just put more time into that. But, you know, I wanted to do something different and really do something nobody's done before, because I love Halo and I love what surrounds it.
Well, it's almost a future-proofing thing, I'm going to assume, right? In a certain way, there's a longevity thought there. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, well, you got to stand out from the crowd and do something different. And if I'm bleeding into the same thing that everybody else is doing, then, you know, I don't stand a chance. You know, so yeah.
No, every time there's an Ultimate Halo video, I'm quick on it. I don't mean to just talk you up, but because I feel like even if it's a topic that's pretty like obligatory, you know, it's like, well, of course, you know, the Halo TV show trailer just came out. Yes, everyone's going to make their commentary on it. But even if it's something like that, you know, you come across as just an honest lad who's just, you know, going to give your thoughts. You know, I mean, you're not gonna say here's the news. I have to be here. You know, you're going to at least make an effort to say something
like it takes
original
passion to do that.
Yeah, and to be honest, one thing I feel like I've got a good grip on, and why the people who do come to my channel and do enjoy it, is because I actually do a good balance between like what's the developer perspective and what's my perspective. You know, I've worked in corporate environments for years. I know like sign-off processes can be a pain in the ass. You know, actually just the internal politics of how these things work is painful and doesn't always result in the best outcome. And I kind of tried to get people to understand what certain rationales might be internally, you know, because of that. So
there's humans on the other side of it, and they are affected in you know, in a way that is completely separate from the actual product. Sometimes, you know, like since it's a group effort, right? Yeah,
and sometimes people don't want to make these decisions, but it's out of necessity as well. Like, for example, the community is talking about this so-called lack of communication by the studio at the minute, but it's like actually, like, and they think they don't get that, but they absolutely do. They feel just as frustrated and feel just the same way as we do. I think people forget they are Halo fans as well, but it's because they don't know them personally. I'm in a privileged position where I do, and I've got very close connections. I've got internal insights to these kind of things with the studio.
Tell us about Halo Infinite too.
Yeah, that's true. Matty O'Donnell, actually. I can tell you one of my Matty O'Donnell stories if you want, where he had the rooming gasp for a minute.
Wait, what?
About Halo Infinite. Because we were talking about music. We were at a barbecue one time in Seattle. If anyone knows Claude Herrera, he was in like the Halo 2 Vidocs. He was like one of the guys at Bungie.org. It was his barbecue. We were just at his house, chilling. We've been before, the year before. Me and Nick and Taquin the Reach Way turn up. We're just chatting away to Grim Brother 1, Jeff Easterlin, having a beer. And I look across the room. I'm like, fucking hell. Nick. It's like, yo, what's up? That's fucking Matty O'Donnell. He's like just over there having a burger. And he's like, oh, shit. I was like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm freaking out right now. But so I actually, to be honest, there are a lot of preconceptions of what he's like as a person, especially by the way he's conducted himself online at times. But from my personal experience, he was a very nice and genuine guy, happy to talk to you. It was surrounded by quite a few people, so I intentionally didn't go up and speak to him. But when he left, I asked for a photo, and I just told him how big a fan I was of his work. I was like, oh, you should have come over and talked to us. I was like, well, you were surrounded by people. I didn't want to bother you. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I get that, to be fair. And when he left, and I think, and funnily enough, there just so happened to be a lot of community discussion around this at the time in terms of who's going to do the score. Marty goes to Jeff. He goes, right, I'll see you on Monday. We'll, make him work on Halo Infinite. And then the whole room just went dead quiet.
No.
I knew he was joking, but I still nearly shit myself. And I was like,
oh, that's so funny.
And it was contrary to some other information I knew at the time as well, which I can't divulge. But it was like, holy shit,
But no one wanted to talk because it's like, well, I don't want to try to shut some information down because it'll sound like now I know something. And I
was like, but everyone's like, keep talking, Marty, please. It's music to my ears. But could you imagine? So yeah, it was pretty cool. But Marty's a cool guy. He's an interesting chap, to say the least.
We've talked about Marty a lot here, as you could imagine. Halo fans who are musicians.
Yeah.
And Neo has a personal relationship with Marty, given that he runs his Discord server.
Yeah.
And so it's like, our perspectives on Marty and our conversations about him are I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say. We tread the
breast.
That's right. I don't know. I mean,
thanks for listening to the Not a Halo podcast.
Yeah. There's more layers than just the public perception. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's very interesting to bring that up.
I mean, one thing I will say, without going too deep into the shit said online before, he seems very astutely aware of the fact that he's said and done some stupid shit on the internet, and I think that's probably just
about it on a regular basis. It seems like on his big stage, and when I listen to it, I kind of attribute that just to him being of that generation, and I notice my parents, especially online, they just don't really have a filter. They just kind of type out what comes to mind, and sometimes at that very. And we all have moments though where we think something and you wouldn't type it because you need time to think about it. And then you probably don't even agree with yourself a few minutes later. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. Whereas I think a lot of people of that generation just kind of type.
It's the whole think before you post thing, I guess.
You are.
What was that?
Well, it's the whole thing of thinking before you post, before it's using, I don't know, I guess public, sort of public outlets is just like a impulse posting things.
Yeah.
But I guess that's kind of also like a caught up in the moment thing, right? As well, you're not thinking about that in the moment sometimes.
And for us, when we're online, it can take us 5 minutes to type a paragraph just so we can be sure of what exactly we're saying to whoever's on the receiving end.
You know what?
Exactly.
I think that's why it's good that Twitter has a word character limit. I don't know how effective it is at making people think, but in a lot of cases, hopefully, it makes people think because they have to consolidate what it is.
You can't write an essay.
I constantly type out tweets, shit I might have an opinion on. I see people in the community talking about stuff, and I'll type it and I'll stop myself and I'll think, A, can I be asked even just having this conversation? And 2, I know I'm going to start something and people aren't going to like it. So if it's in absolute necessity, I'll still go ahead with it. But if it's just kind of something that's not going to really change anything, I'll just leave it because sometimes it's just not worth the hassle,
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me a lot, definitely. Usually I just end up turning whatever I'm thinking about into a meme or something.
That's a good way to express yourself sometimes because you can at least hide behind the veneer of humor.
Yeah.
It's an effective modern communication method. It seeds the idea in another person's head, and if they like it, they'll take it, and if they don't, they can chalk it up to as a meme.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do, when someone has a weird opinion, it's not super serious, but they have kind of a weird opinion. I just post this GIF or GIF. I guess
it's GIF.
You're playing with fire
GIF,
there.
Yeah, it's GIF. No, the GIF of I think it's Jonah Hill, right? When he does that.
Yeah. I've seen you use that. Yeah.
You just post that and nothing else. It's just so good. That was good.
It's true.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to the.
There it is. Yeah, I know. I mean, the classic
noticed the
awkward
silence.
silence that we have at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
That's when we know we're done.
The way it goes.
I mean,
Fine.
Wait, I mean, looking at Audacity, fuck, Zacarra's gonna have a good time. We just passed 2 hours, 10
yeah.
minutes.
Jesus.
Oh no.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We got content, boys. We got
Yeah, we do
content.
have
I can
content.
say that.
Yeah, on that note, I will. Thank you all for joining us today. Not a Halo podcast is a creation of Pseudofusion Productions, free of any funding. If you'd like to support us, please share the podcast with someone you love, and please support the crew members, Alyx, Neo, and Wernissage, on their respective platforms, and our very special guest, Jack Fletcher, from Ultimate Halo, the one and only.
Cheers, lad.
If you'd like to
Jeez,
see us
man.
continue to grow even further, you can support Pseudofusion on Patreon, or you can get ad-free audio versions of this show the Friday before release. Thank you all for your support. I'm Noah, and this is not a Halo podcast.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.